gonna cut me off. They're gonna cut me off when we start the video. No, carry on. Hi.
Oh my god. Hi, I'm Quin, and this is Whitney.
Hi.
And we are driving the car again. And we're gonna talk about movies. Models in the car, talking about movies, models.
Models, mobile. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's gotta have MMM. Models, movies, and mobile.
Yeah, we are mobile and we're models. I'm gonna talk about movies. Yeah. And I'm really sorry, it's really bumpy because we are actually driving the car.
Sorry, it took me a different route today.
It's okay. It's all good.
GPS.
Stupid GPS. Okay, so this one, I'm going to do similar to what we did for the first one. I'm going to tell you have not seen this movie. You don't even know what I'm going to tell you about yet.
No, I haven't.
Because I want.
You want the shock value.
Yes.
I'm
okay.
With that.
So this movie is called Kissed. Like, Kissed. It came out in '96. It stars Molly Parker, and she is a necrophiliac.
Fuck yes. Wait, she is a necrophiliac?
In the movie, not the actress.
No,
in the movie.
I'm trying to figure out how this works.
She it starts off, she's a young girl, and she's like really fascinated with death, but not like oh I'm a goth, I'm very fascinated with death. Like, no, she sees it as like a spiritual thing, like she feels like she can see their spirits as they're leaving, and it's like a very, like a beautiful thing to her. And it starts with like little animals, and she'll like rub them on herself, like not in a sexual way, but like just she wants to be able to feel it. I don't know. It's
life leaving them?
Yeah, it's very like she's not with them as they're dying, like they're already dead, and like it's her little ritual.
Spiritual
like
connection.
she does like a little dance and kind of gets less clothed and dances around the grave. It's really odd, but it's
Witchy, perhaps?
a little bit. It does feel a little bit witchy, and she actually gets in trouble because one of her friends is with her when she's doing this, and then like the friend gets really freaked out, so she no longer has this friend. And it felt to me,
It feels like her friend's judgy.
Yeah. It felt to me like maybe it would have been like a lesbianism thing if that hadn't happened, but I could just be projecting, which is, that happens, you know. And so as she gets older, she ends up working at a funeral home. And
appropriate.
yeah. And like she does like have sex with the men. Like you don't see her having sex, like they still kind of make it
So,
very like
not to get too detailed or anything.
Yeah, like
but would rigor mortis actually?
You'd think maybe it would help. I don't know.
Like, no,
it's
I'm
never really addressed.
Okay.
Because like you really only see her like kind of stroking them and kissing them and stuff. So she gets to college and wants to become an embalmer. And
I know someone who does that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really neat. I've always found it pretty
Back in our home way. I'm not saying where.
Well, I hope they are also not a necrophiliac. That would be rude.
I don't think she is, no.
Oh, and that's also a woman. Okay, so she's college age, and she starts getting kind of hit on by this guy in a diner, and he's a medical student, and like he's really awkward. They're both extremely awkward, and I mean obviously, and so he like engages her in conversation, and she like, but feels kind of like out of the blue, because he's like, why do you want to be an embalmer? And she was like, it's about the bodies. I want to make love to them. And he's like absurdly kind of cool with it. He's just like, oh wow, like that's really interesting. And she's like, I've never told anybody before. And they have like really awkward flirting together, and it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But then they do eventually have a sexual relationship together. Like he's her first live person, and you can tell she kind of just doesn't really dig it that much. But she still does care about him, and he cares about her. But then he starts to get really weirdly jealous of like the dead bodies, and like he starts becoming.
Not like they're gonna be around for a while.
Right? Like he almost starts to become a stalker. Like it's very strange that in a movie about a woman that's a necrophiliac and the boyfriend is the creepy one. Like it's so
kind of a super role reversal.
Yeah, it's very odd. But
Kissed?
It's called Kissed. Yeah, and it came out in '97 or '96.
I mean, this sounds super weird, and I
get down with
It's
super
very
weird.
it's very much like an art house movie. It's a lot of like voiceover monologuing, but it never. I don't think it ever really becomes pretentious or anything. It's so weird. So what ends up happening is he ends up bringing like obituaries and starts to read them, and knows that the bodies are at her because it's in the paper, I guess, like where the funeral home.
Would it be poetic? Would it be a romance novel or poetic if he were to read obituaries to her?
Well, no, like not that way, because he reads it to her and he's like, "Did you fuck them, or did you have sex with these two?" And she's just like, "I don't fuck everything that's dead." He's like, "That's a line of dialogue."
Stop assuming that was my type.
Right. And then eventually, like, he wants to feel what she's feeling, like he wants to experience this, and it's like their weird relationship fight involves him saying, I kind of have to fuck a corpse. And you're just like, yikes.
See how that didn't really even faze me?
Yeah, right? Like, no, it's just, I mean, it's yikes as in, like, that's your big fight, is that he wants to do it and she doesn't want him to. Like, she's like, no, I'm compelled to do this. I don't do this because, like, to do it for curiosity. She's like, this is just who I am, and well, it's so bizarre.
How do you find out who you are until you've tried it?
So eventually, like, spoilers, he kills himself. Like, he wants.
You should have like big flashing, like, spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert from the movie that came out over 20 years ago. Over 30 years. No, wait, math.
No, not 30.
No, it's 30. My bad. 20.
I was 11 when that came out.
I can't do math. Anyway. So yeah, so he
speeding and another cop just popped around the corner.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. So is everything okay?
He kills himself. Yeah, no, he's staying back there. I'm like 9 over. Schmuck. So he kills himself.
Yeah, so he wants like
her?
Yeah, like he calls her and she shows up and he's like naked and he's got a noose around his neck and he's like, I want you to move the chair, and she's like, I'm not gonna do that, I love you. And he's like, no. He's like, you don't love me right now, but you're going to love me. Right? Like, so, and he does kill himself at the end, and then she
doesn't move the chair, he does it himself.
He does it himself, yeah. And then she like has sex with him at the end, and then it, like at the end of the movie, she's like,
romantic.
Right? It's like weirdly romantic and sweet, and it's messed up, like so messed up. It was.
I'm not complaining.
Would you watch this movie?
Yeah,
even though I just told you about it?
No, I
like,
would.
The other thing is, like, yes,
I want to watch it more now that you said something.
The subject matter sounds really gruesome and terrible, but like it's really like wholesomely shot, and like it's so strange. It's the strangest little movie ever. Yeah, like Amy Mercury actually recommended me to watch it because we did a movie exchange. I was like, you watch this one movie and I'll watch this. And I think I got the better end of the deal because I got her to watch Irreversible. And I think that's gonna be it for us for right now. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.